North Fargo. It happened just after midnight at Sanford Occupational Health in the 3800 block of 12th Avenue North.
The man who was driving had cooperated with police, and it appears that he experienced a medical issue, and that resulted in him crashing into the building. No one was hurt. New this morning, there was a bit of commotion on Fargo's south side after a shoplifting suspect took off running from police. Authorities say a perimeter was set up in a neighborhood around 8 last night while officers searched for a man reported to have stolen items from Fleet Farm.
They located Philip Peltier in the backyard of 3200 37th Avenue South. He was arrested for theft, refusing to halt, and 2 unrelated warrants. Also new this morning, we have an amazing story to share with you about the will to live. A Minnesota man is recovering after being pinned under a large tree for 4 days. The Redwood County Sheriff's Office got a call Monday afternoon about a welfare check on a man who hadn't shown up to work for 2 days.
Deputies found no sign of John Kaplecha at his home. Then they were told by his ex-wife that he had been cutting trees. Now, Kaplecha was located down a steep ravine 100 yards from his home. Both of his legs were pinned under that large tree, but he was alert and conscious. And it took another 2 hours for the firefighters to carefully get rid of that tree because one wrong move and it could have crushed him. He is now being treated at a hospital in Minneapolis.
Family members say John kept himself from panicking by breaking up the days into 5-minute segments so that he would have little victories throughout the day that would give him little pieces of hope.
Here's the latest on a fire at a home at the center of a death investigation on the White Earth Indian Reservation. The state fire marshal now says that fire was intentionally set. 32-year-old Beth Hill was found dead inside that house last month, and a preliminary investigation indicates that she died of a drug overdose. The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is now looking into the circumstances that led up to that fire.
A pilot on the way to Bemidji is dead after crashing his small plane in a northern Minnesota lake. Federal investigators say a 62-year-old man from Mississippi had been grounded in St. Cloud Tuesday because of bad weather, then took off for Bemidji. That was the last time he was heard from. His plane was recovered Wednesday from Leech Lake near Walker, which is on the west side of Leech Lake.
It is now 8 minutes before the top of the hour. Let's get a check of our forecast on this Friday. And it's a little cool this morning, Lisa, but the holiday weekend, not too bad considering.
Yeah, there are a couple things we'll need to watch out for as we head into the weekend, but overall we've got some good opportunities to get in some outdoor time as we head into the holiday weekend, and even today too. Beautiful sunrise happening right now as we're looking off to the east in Fargo, and you can see the cloud deck overhead helping to frame that. Well, that's going to take over for the morning. So it's going to be a little cloudier here this morning once that sun disappears behind the clouds as it rises here. But don't worry, it'll come back. We've got some sunshine on the way today. But if you're hitting the roads to head to your destination, maybe heading to the lake this weekend, well, we're looking at some good travel weather for it. Just keep in mind we've got the potential for some sprinkles this morning, maybe into Lakes Country heading into the afternoon as well. And heading out to school, things are looking good at the bus stop. Temperatures into the 50s here to start off the day. We're going to see some, and 40s too. We'll take a look at that in a moment. We'll see more clouds this morning in eastern North Dakota. Eventually those move into Minnesota, and in North Dakota this afternoon we'll start to clear out, get more sunshine. Temperatures rising more into the 70s, a little warmer than yesterday. So your planner, both at the bus stop and just in general, looking better this afternoon. But here's a look at the cloud cover and the showers or sprinkles that are showing up on the radar. These are pretty high based, and what that means is that it may dry up before it reaches the ground. So there are going to be some areas where we maybe see, if you're looking at your Valley News Live First Alert weather app, you see the radar overhead, but you're not experiencing anything, and that may be why. But still, there are some potential sprinkles and showers that may impact you under these clouds today. Here's a look at our temperatures. Most of us in the 40s and 50s, one spot 39 in Boston. It is a lot cooler. Oh, actually 2 spots. Roseau is now down to 39. New update there. A lot of us in those 40s as well into Minnesota where we've been clear. The wind is at least light here today as well, and that's going to give us a break for the daytime hours, and into Saturday too. We'll ease up on the wind. Saturday does look like the better day of the next 3, but even Sunday, I have the storm cloud there. That's probably not until Sunday night. So most of the day Sunday's looking pretty good. Still check back with us on that forecast to stay up to date on that. And then for Labor Day, probably the day that won't be so nice. We're looking at some 60s coming up for your highs, more clouds, and more chances for a little rain.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Police are blaming a drunk driver for leaving an historic building in Red Wing, Minnesota in ruins. Now, they say the driver was speeding in his SUV when he hit the Liberty restaurant early yesterday morning. Patrol officers spotted that car whizzing by them, and by the time they turned around, they saw a large cloud of dust and debris coming from that area, and they found the suspect crawling out of the window. Look at the damage that was done.
That's incredible damage. The building has been a staple in town since 1886. More than half the building crashed to the ground, and structural engineers are now trying to figure out if they can save the rest. Keep a sharp eye out for prowlers ahead of this Labor Day weekend. A West Fargo woman says someone broke into her car and stole a sentimental ring worth $2,000.
Now, they say that it happened between Tuesday and Wednesday in the Wilds development in West Fargo. Kayla Rice says the thief didn't do any damage but took her husband's 2006 championship Red Hawks ring. Now, police are looking for it online and at local pawn shops to find that ring. We are getting a look today at video from an assault that happened at a Moorhead apartment building. Now, we told you about this earlier this week, about a man who says he was beat up when he asked someone to put on a mask before getting into the elevator with him.
Kenneth Ortner, the man with the walker in this video, says there was pushing and shoving and that he ended up with a concussion. Police tell us there will be no citation issued. Here's a heads up for those of you heading to the lake this holiday weekend. Researchers say there is a chance that COVID-19 could end up in the water, but not in the way that you might think. They've been testing Minnesota waters and say there's a chance that the virus could be in the water by way of human waste.
The virus can be shed in a person's stool a month out from their symptoms, and they say it's not uncommon for beaches to be contaminated that way. But so far the virus has not been found in any samples. As our Labor Day weekend is set to start, many college students and just people in general, they're ready for those holiday get-togethers.
Right. It's a last big summer weekend at the lake for a lot of people. However, we are hearing that local universities are telling their students to stay on campus, maybe not go back to their hometowns for the weekend. The Valley Today's Brian Sherratt joins us live this morning to share some advice from one of our local colleges on some ways to have fun but still stay safe. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Jordan and Lisa. You know, you always want to put safety first, and social distancing is going to be the prior point of what you're going to want to do for this holiday weekend. There's a lot of fun events that we're going to tell you about later on, but first we want to let you guys know the reason why we're telling you to social distance this weekend. So during the 4th of July holiday weekend, experts in North Dakota saw new cases go between 50 to 100 all week long. There was also only one death reported all week. Now, as you head over to the Minnesota side, experts reported a whole different story. During the 4th of July weekend, experts saw an average of 700 new cases all week long, and the death toll between 5 to 8 people daily. Now, to talk about those fun events to enjoy at Lindenwood Park, take a kayak or bike ride. Both can be rented and managed by one person. Take a hike at Buffalo River State Park. That's a 2.2-mile hike to enjoy gorgeous scenery. You can never go wrong with a picnic at Island Park. Along the way in Fargo and Moorhead, lots of murals to go out and see. So you can still go out for your Labor Day weekend and be safe. I know the norm is barbecues and pool parties, but I would say if you ever decide to do that, make it a smaller group and also make sure you're wearing a mask because you don't want to spread any COVID-19 to anyone else. The worst thing you want to do is be one of the positive cases or sadly even a potential death because you sadly didn't follow the rules. You also don't want to spread it to anyone else as well. So I recommend just taking these steps.
Some great reminders this morning as well.
And there's
social
a lot
distancing.
of focus on bars and restaurants and stuff like that, but we forget our homes too. So you're having
Right.
a lot of people over to your house, the same thing still counts. You can't have that many people over and everyone should still wear a mask.
Good point. You see them by the dozens sometimes this time of the year, but Fargo police are warning parents against posting those first day of school signs on social media. A trend for many, of course, you see it a lot, I do, on my feed, writing personal information on a chalkboard, like their child's grade and school, and then having their child hold the sign for a photo on the first day of class.
But police say if your privacy settings aren't locked down or if you're using hashtags, you could be inviting trouble from predators. Police say if you're already posted that picture, it's not too late to change your privacy settings or just delete that picture altogether to help keep your family protected.
The Salvation Army of Fargo is collecting new and gently used coats for its annual Coats Drive event. Most needed items include children's sizes 6 through 12 coats, snow pants, boots, and gloves.
The coat drive will be kicking off Tuesday at all Hornbachers locations. You can drop your stuff off there.
Let's get our answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. Here's today's question once again. 60% of us admit that we have stopped a dinner conversation in order to do this.
The answer? A lot of people are going to roll their eyes at this one probably. It's take a picture of your food. Yes, I have done that.
Sometimes it's just Insta-worthy. It's too beautiful to eat. I'm going to take a picture. I'll do it.
I think if I made food and someone took a picture of it, I'd be flattered.
Yeah, I would too.
Come on, yeah, pretty good thing. Anyway, thanks for joining us here. The Today Show and CPS This Morning are just about to start. The Valley Today rolls on the Fargo CW. Have a happy and safe Labor Day weekend, everybody.